Hello all, welcome to Public Cloud Design Tips and Tricks. Today's topic is AWS Storage Gateway. What is the problem statement here? The problem statement is how to transfer data from on-prem system to off-prem system and vice versa. What are the solution possibilities? Azure migrate from Microsoft Azure, AWS Storage Gateway from AWS, and Google Storage Transfer Service from Google Cloud. Now, what is AWS Storage Gateway? It is basically a hybrid system or hybrid service basically, which is managed by AWS, and it provides an integration between on-prem IT environment or IT systems with AWS infrastructure or AWS services. Now, why users store data in AWS services? Because of scalability and cost effectiveness. AZ is a virtual appliance, or AWS Storage Gateway is basically a virtual appliance that get installed in on-prem environment, either in a hypervisor or a VMware kind of a setup, and that facilitates the data replications or the data transfer to AWS S3 set of services. That is how it works. Now, there are different kind of integration possibilities in AWS Storage Gateway, and that can easily be done via Azure portal. Now, what are the types of storage gateway? AWS storage gateway basically divided into three kinds. First is file gateway, second one is volume gateway, and third one is tape gateway. Now, the volume gateway is again divided into shared or store volume and then cache volume. Now, what is a file gateway? File gateway is generally used to store object-based data. For example, Word file, PDF file, or media file, which can directly be stored in Amazon S3. It is based on NFS technique, and file stored in S3 directly can be synced using mount point. So that is how it works. Once transferred, it can be stored as an object within AWS and can follow the lifecycle management of AWS versioning, replication, access, etc. So there is a simple example here. A data center and AWS are there, and the file transfer is happening from data center to AWS or vice versa using the file gateway. So the connectivity between data center and AWS can be using direct connect or a VPC or a network peering or using the internet. So this is an example of file gateway. Now, what is volume gateway? Volume gateway is used for block-based storage, and it generally use an ISCSI protocol. Okay, so it deals with disk volumes using ISCSI block protocol. Data stored in disks generally backed off with a point-in-time snapshots. So it is a block-based approach, and the data backed off is always based on a snapshot. It is incremental in nature, and the latest backup is always the last snapshot. So the latest backup means the latest sync is always the last snapshots. Okay. In AWS, it gets stored in EBS snapshot, elastic block storage, and EBS snapshots can be a hard disk attached to an EC2. So that is how it is, volume gateway. Now again, the volume gateway are of two kinds, stored volume and cached volume. What is stored volume? To store the entire data of on-prem to S3. So basically, you are trying to kind of transfer the whole set of data of on-prem into AWS S3 services. That is why here the entire source data gets stored locally, and the copy occurs asynchronously and gets replicated in AWS. So that is the mechanism of the data transfer. It also works with ISCSI device for the local storage. So basically on the on-prem environment, it is the volume storage gateway which follow the ISCSI protocol to store the data, and it can support data up to 1 to 6 GB. So that is how it works. So the left part is the on-prem data center where you have the server data that you want to transfer to AWS, and there is a volume storage that is the storage gateway, and then the data from the server get locally stored here, and then it gets synced into AWS EBS, elastic block storage. So that is how stored volume works. Now, what is cached volume? The major difference between the stored volume and cached volume is in stored volume, the entire set of data gets stored locally and then gets replicated. Whereas the cached volume is a kind of a hybrid approach where it first store the most frequently accessed data, and then it gets replicated continuously into the AWS S3 services, the frequently accessed data, and the other data again it directly gets replicated into AWS S3 object, and it stay rest basically. So it is more the frequently accessed data that gets replicated more often in this kind of a approach. And this approach helps the on-prem local storage to be used optimally instead of you store the entire set of data and then gets replicated. It's only the frequently accessed data that gets transferred. So that is why the local storage is used optimally, and it also improve the latency factor in the while copying the data. So that is how it works. So it is same like stored volume in this diagram, uh, but in the gateway it is more a cache data storage before it gets transferred into AWS. That is how it works. Uh, Now the tab gateway is the third kind of storage gateway. So it generally use tab gateway library interface for the data transfer, and it is durable and cost effective again, and provides a tab-based backup infra to store data using a virtual tab. So for on-prem, from different vendor, it works as a virtual tab storage. And once it gets replicated into AWS, again it works with AWS S3 and Glacier in the form of virtual tab for data store and data retrieving from S3 to Glacier. So that is how the lifecycle management gets happen here in AWS side. So it is more a virtual tab based approach, both on-prem as well as off-prem or the public cloud in terms of data transfer. So that is how it works. Uh, so that's all about a high level theory on AWS Storage Gateway. Uh, but if you want to go more into that and to try to understand more dimension of every pattern, basically, you can always refer to AWS links and other documents, and can go depth into it. So that's it for today's session. Thank you and have a good day.